Hello class 7, welcome back. Children, last week we had started with a new chapter, chapter number 6, The Adventure of the Three Students. It is a mystery story written by Arthur Conan Doyle, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. It's one of the short stories written by him about Sherlock Holmes, who's a well-known, detective. It's a fictional character. It's not a real story. It's a fictional character. So the story is about about a teacher who teaches at St. Luke's College, and one day he goes to Sherlock Holmes asking for help. Now, what actually had happened was the next day there was an exam that was to be conducted, and he was one of the person responsible for conducting that exam. So. A day prior to the examination day, he received the set of papers which were going to come in the exam, and he was going through those papers. He was reading through those papers, and in the meantime, it was time for him to take a break. He had gone to his friend's house for a cup of tea, and when he came back, he found that somebody had entered his house while he was away, and it seemed the way the papers were scattered all over the room, it seemed as if somebody had gone through those papers, had copied those papers. And so he got worried and went to Sherlock Holmes because he wanted his help to find out who the culprit was, who was the person who went through those exam papers in his absence. And for that he went to Sherlock Holmes. Okay, so after listening to his complaint or his problem, Sherlock Holmes asks him few questions about like where he had kept the papers, or when he came back, what did he see in the room. So whatever question Sherlock Holmes were putting in front of him, he was answering them, and while answering them, Sherlock Holmes came to know that when he went to have tea, he left the papers on the table only, but when he came back, the papers were all scattered. The writing table on which the paper was kept had a small cut on it. Then there was, mud pieces. There were black mud on the table. So listening to all those things, while answering Sherlock's questions, the teacher, that is Soames, mentions his servant's name, his helper's name, that was who was Bannister. So when Sherlock Holmes asked him why Bannister was there in his room, he says that every day during the afternoon he comes there to serve him tea, and that might be one of the reasons why he was there, because he must have forgotten that that day Soames was having a tea with his friend. So that is all we have learned. This all happened in the first scene, and now we will continue with the second scene. Scene 2. Soames' rooms in St. Luke's College. Soames: that window does not open, Mr. Holmes. Nobody can enter the room through there. Holmes: which chair was Bannister sitting on? Soames: the chair by the window. So after asking few questions about the condition of the room, which Soames saw after coming back, Holmes decides to visit his room himself. So he, along with Watson and Soames, goes there, and when they reach Soames' room, Soames points at the window, and he says that the window of this window, that the room where he was sitting reading the paper, he says this window does not open, so there is no chance that anybody can enter or go out of that window. So Holmes asked him that when you came back from tea, after having tea, where did you see Bannister sitting? So Soames says that he was sitting in this chair which was near that window. Holmes: near this little table, yes? Yes, of course. The man comes in. He takes the 3 papers from the writing table to carry them across to the window, because then he can see you when you come across the garden to the front door. Soames. So hearing this, Holmes says that okay, this is a table, and then he starts thinking that what the person could have done the one who visited Soyam's room in his absence to go through the papers, what he would have done. So he starts visualizing, and he says that the person must have come in, he must have seen those papers, he must have known somehow, or he must have seen those papers from outside the window, and he came into your room, and then he picked up those papers and he went near the window to keep an eye outside, so that he will, if he stands near the window, he'll come to know when Soames was returning, because in order to enter the room, Soames had to come through the garden. So he says if the person would have been standing in front of the near the window, then he would very quickly come to know when Soames was about to enter the room.
Soames: but he didn't see me because I walked in through the back door. Holmes: ah, that helps. Can I see the 3 papers now? Soames opens a box with a key and takes out the papers.
So listening to Holmes' reasoning, Soames says that you are correct. He could have seen me coming from the window, through the window, but he did not see me because I did not come from the front door. I entered my room from the back door. And listening that, Holmes says, okay, that is a big help. At least now he knows that the person who was standing in front of that near that window was not able to see when Soames was coming back. And then he asks Soames that if he could see those 3 papers, and Soames takes out a key, and key was of a box where he had kept those 3 papers. So he opens the box and takes out the papers and hands it over to Holmes.
Holmes, looking at the first paper. He carries this first paper across to the table near the window and begins to copy it. It takes him 10 minutes. Watson, 15, I think.
So Holmes looks at the first paper, and then he, you can say, enacts the scene. He says that, okay, the person must have taken the first paper across to the table, which was, near the window, and he must have started copying it. And he guessed that it would have taken at least 10 minutes for that person to copy the paper. Then Watson, he comes in and he says that according to him, he says that I think 10 minutes is too less. I think he must have taken at least 15 minutes to copy that first paper.
Holmes, all right, 15. Then he puts it down on the floor, gets the next paper and begins to copy that. Then he hears you coming in the back door, Mr. Soames. He must be quick. He leaves the second paper on the table next to the window and runs. Where? Did you hear him running upstairs? Soames, no, I didn't.
So Holmes says, okay, I'll take your opinion. I agree with your opinion. Maybe it took him 15 minutes to copy the first paper. And once he was done copying the first paper, he kept the first paper on the floor, and he went to take the second paper, and he started to copy it also. And while he was copying the second paper, maybe he heard Soames coming in through the back door, because he was standing near the window. He was keeping an eye out, but Soames was nowhere to be seen. So he thought that maybe Soames is still out. But when suddenly Soames' footsteps were heard by that man, he became alert, and he decided, or he thought that where he could hide. So when he came, according to Holmes, when Soames was heard coming in, the person who was already there, you can say the cheater, the culprit, he said that the culprit must have been very quick, because he quickly left the paper on the table near the window, and then he ran, because he never wanted to be caught. He did not want himself to be caught. So then he asked that where that person could have gone in such a short time. And then he asked Soames that whether he heard anybody running upstairs, that is on the first floor. To which Soames says that no, he did not hear anybody's footsteps. He did not see anybody. He did not hear anybody running upstairs to the first floor.
Holmes, looking closely at the table. He's writing quickly because he breaks his pencil and needs to sharpen it again. The pencil was long and dark blue. Look at these pieces. Holmes walks across to the big writing table and takes a small piece of black mud from it.
Then Holmes goes near the table and he very carefully observes the table and makes that conclusion that the person, the culprit, was writing very quickly in order to copy the question paper quickly. He was writing very fast, and as a result, his pencil broke, and he had to sharpen it again. How he could make that conclusion? Because near the table he could see the pencil shavings, and he says that the pencil was long and dark blue in color because the shavings had that color of blue in it. And so he shows those pencil shavings to Soames, and then he goes to the other bigger writing table, and when he observes there, he finds that there were small pieces of black mud there, and he picks up some of that mud in his hand.
Holmes, a piece of black mud. I can see the cut on the writing table. What is that door? Soames, it opens into my bedroom.
Holmes picks up that mud and he says that, okay, this is a piece of, by observing it, he says, okay, this is black mud. And then he looks at the table, he says, okay, I can also see the cut on the writing table. And then his attention goes to a door. And he asks Soames that, what is that door? So Soames says that that door is the door of his bedroom. So that door opens to his bedroom.
Holmes, did you go into your bedroom before you ran out to find me? Soames, no. Holmes opens the bedroom door and looks under the bed. Then he sees the curtain.
So Holmes asks him that when you saw your papers scattered on the floor, did you check in your room? Did you go to your room just to have a look if somebody was hiding there or not? So Soames says that no, I did not go into my room. I did not check anything. The moment I saw the paper scattered, I straight away came to you for help. Listening this, Holmes opens the bedroom door and he enters, and then he bends down and tries to look under the bed just to see if somebody was hiding there or if he could find any other evidence under the bed. And while he was doing so, he also saw that there were then his attention went to the curtain.
Holmes, a man can hide behind the curtain. What's this? It's some mud again. Your visitor was in this room, Mr. Soames. Think for a minute. He hears you coming. What can he do? He must hide. So he runs into your bedroom and hides behind this curtain.
So when he sees the curtain, Holmes tells the teacher Soames that he says that the man who had come to your room was hiding behind this curtain. Why? He says because behind that curtain there were the same black mud which he had found on the writing table. So he says that, Mr. Soames, when you entered the room, the person was not able to run anywhere. He was not able to run outside, nor he was able to run upstairs. So the easiest place for him he was looking for a place to hide himself, and that place he found in your bedroom. So the moment he heard you approach, he straight away ran to your bedroom and he hid himself behind the curtain.
Soames, oh, then he was in here when Bannister and I were in the next room. Holmes, yes, that's right. Tell me, how many students live upstairs and go past your door? Soames, 3, all taking this examination. Holmes, who are they?
Listening this, Soames realizes and he says, okay, that means when he and Bannister were there in the room, that means at the very same moment, the culprit was hiding in Soames' bedroom. So Holmes says, yes, that's right. And then he asks Soames that how many children live in the upper floor, and out of them, how many students, pass from his door or from in front of his door. To which Soames says that there are 3 students who are living upstairs. And then Holmes asks him that who are those 3 students.
Soames, there is Gilchrist. He plays football and likes running. Daulat Ras is a quite young man, but he works well. Then there is Miles McLaren, a very clever young man. However, he doesn't study much and he's worried about this examination.
So Soames starts telling him about the 3 children or the 3 students. He says the first person is Gilchrist. He plays football and he likes running a lot. Then there is a second person whose name is Daulat Ras, and he's a very quiet man. And he's quite sincere. He does all his work. And then there is a third person third student whose name is Miles McLaren. He's a very clever person, but he's not good in studies. He does not want to study much, and neither does he take the pain to study much, and that is why he's quite worried about the examination.
Holmes, so he would like to see the papers first. Soames, well, yes, perhaps.
So listening to the description of the 3 students by Soames, Holmes comes to the conclusion that maybe because McLaren does not study much and he is anxious or worried about his exam, maybe he could be the person who would be very interested in going through those papers he must be interested in seeing those papers first. And Soames agrees that yes, maybe you are right.